everyone, and welcome to this presentation on critical race theory. And this is now part 6 of the series, and it is going to focus on intersectionality. Intersectionality is closely linked with another concept known as anti-essentialism. They go together when it comes to critical race theory, but they are separate concepts. So let me go over intersectionality first. This is the idea that focusing on race eclipses other forms of exclusion, so people don't have just one identity that is put on them. Anti-essentialism means that there is not one clear-cut experience for an entire group of people that every member experiences as the same. So it's the idea that there may be a shared history, but not one shared experience. Let me go over these two with some additional graphics to try to clarify a little bit more. So one form of identity involves race, but we also have another identity having to do with gender. So this center piece here where they overlap is the intersection of these two identities. But we don't just have two identities. We have identities related to ability or disability, in which case then, now this becomes the intersection. What if we add more? Sexual orientation, national origin, socioeconomic status. So as you can see, there are many possible intersections to one's identity. Anti-essentialism can be explained, I think, really well with this graphic. So it's the idea, as I said, that diverse societies cannot be reduced to a single common core. So if we have different ethnicities or different groups within a particular ethnicity or anything really, then it's the idea that just because they have similarities in cultures or what have you, they don't have one common core experience. There may be intersections in different ways among the different groups, but it's not just one intersection. So at this point, you may be thinking, or not, but, Dr. B, don't these two ideas contradict themselves? And I can see where there might be some confusion in that area, because on the one hand, we're saying consider intersectionality, and then on the other hand, we're saying, but don't be anti-essentialist. There is no one common core experience. Let me try to explain it by giving some examples. So when we're talking about intersectionality, it's intersectionality of oppression. So everybody has aspects of their identity where there's membership in a target group and a membership in a privileged group. So the target group is an oppressed group, and a privileged group is one that has advantages. So imagine we have a male who is Latino, but he's transgender. So he was born female. He's able-bodied, and he's Christian. Being Latino and transgender are part of target/oppressed groups. Being able-bodied and being Christian in this country is a privileged group. This is not the same as anti-essentialism, which is basically saying that there's no one group experience. Not all transgender people have the same experience with oppression. Transgendered people are oppressed as a group, and we have to consider that aspect of identity and how it intersects with other aspects of identity. But there is no one experience that everyone shares in the same way. Okay, so that's the end of part 6. We just have one more to go. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. And here's the cartoon for intersectionality. So here we have the March on Washington, and you have a suffragette who's saying, you can join the suffrage parade, but like in the back, the very back, or the next day, or not at all. It's just that it's a votes for women thing. We don't want it to make it a race thing, but thanks for your support. Yeah, it sounds like a race thing, says the woman being excluded. It's not a race thing. I really like this cartoon because it's still relevant for today in the sense of even when we're thinking about feminism, we have to consider intersectionality and the idea that not every woman has the same experience as women as an oppressed group. there is a shared oppression, but within that shared oppression, different groups may have different experiences, and different people within those groups will have different experiences. And that's the gist of intersectionality and anti-essentialism. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.